Welcome to Nickel City Mafia and welcome to the post-game victory show for the Buffalo Bills, who locked up the second seed after knocking out the New England Patriots. I'm Mike Thornton. That's Jake Podger. You know, usually you're talking about the offense or defense carrying a team on their back. But today, man, we got a shot in the arm from Mr. Nyheim Hines. Two back-breaking returns for touchdowns. And we're going to start it off with audio clips of those. I got Chris Brown from the Buffalo Bills radio network. And, different from the broadcast that we watched. And he brings a little more excitement. It's pretty cool. So let's play that. Here we go. Let's roll that. And there's going to be just a minute. I want you to hear both of these returns announced by Chris Brown. Here we go.
Coming straight up the middle to the 20, cuts it back at the 25. He's got an alley down the right sideline to the 40, 50, down to the 40, 35, 30, 20, 15, 10, 5. Touchdown, Nyheim Hines, 96 yards. Run as fast as you can. You're not catching Hines. He's your end zone man. Buffalo on the board with the first play from scrimmage. Hines takes it a yard deep in the end zone, going to bring it out. Out to the 10, to the 15, up over the 20, 25, 30, gets away from the tackler, 35, 40, 45, 50. They're not going to get him. He's going for another one. 102 yards. Nyheim Hines sets Highmark ablaze with his second kick return touchdown of the game.
You want to talk about an exciting, wow, he got into it. Chris Brown, filling in for John Murphy, by the way. Prayers go out to John Murphy, and hopefully he'll be able to return soon. But Chris Brown stepped in nicely, and it was nice to get its second. Like, I didn't know who. I got these off ESPN. I'm like, who made those announcements? And then I found out it was Chris Brown. And I'm like, this is perfect.
He brings the juice. I will say he
right?
did a tremendous job. It's tough to fill John Murphy's shoes, but I think he honored him extremely well today and did a fantastic job. Actually, that's the first time I've heard that audio. So yeah. I appreciate you bringing that on here, Mike. It's great stuff.
Yeah, it was the first time I had heard it. So Jake, let me throw it to you. You're a big special teams guy, and we're going to talk special teams first. I don't know if we've talked special teams first all year long, but I mean, big emotions on the field today, of course, and then to start the game with the first play of the game, a 96-yard kickoff return, and then when things were starting to turn and the Patriots took the lead for the first time, 17-14 in the second half, they kick off, and Nyheim's does one better. He goes 102 yards. So let me throw it to you to talk about. It may have taken a while. I know a lot of folks were like, man, that trade for Hines really hasn't worked out for us, has it? But it paid off in a big way, Jake, right?
It sure did, yeah. And you know what's amazing? Like, first off, it was, as Antonio mentions, Antonio, I appreciate you guys for you joining us. He mentions here at the opening kickoff, gave him chills. 3 years and 3 months since the last opening kickoff touchdown. I think since the last kickoff return touchdown in general for the Buffalo Bills. So how cool was that to see? And then just to add a little more into this, if you're into numerology, 96 yards, Mike. So 9 minus 6 equals what?
3, man. 3.
And then his second kickoff return touchdown, 102 yards. 1 plus 0 plus 2 equals what?
3, my friend.
How about that?
Friend.
I mean, it seems to,
it
seems to just appear. It kept appearing throughout the entire day today, and it was absolutely incredible. I don't know if you believe in that stuff, but it's kind of cool just to kind of put the pieces together. A lot of cool coincidences and stuff like that. And I don't think it's a coincidence. I think there's a lot going on out there. Whether you believe in it or not, I really do think that I think that there was a special place, and everyone's heart, obviously, for DeMar, but, God had his hand in this one for sure. It was absolutely incredible to see. So, I mean, what a time. I mean, to start the game off, I mean, who would have ever expected that? I mean, it's been close. There's been a couple of good returns this year from him, but, man, for him to just come out the gate like that, it was absolutely incredible. And then, of course, in the second half, that gave us a really big, that kind of gave us some momentum, going into that. And it's just great to see. So, yeah. Unbelievable.
It was incredible. I mean, you could tell we didn't really know. Everyone's like, "Are the Bills going to be pumped up because of all the good news?" Which they were, very pumped up. But again, what they had witnessed on the field Monday night is like, man, are they going to be able to play a football game, play a physical football game? And him returning that first kickoff just relieved some pressure a little bit. You could tell, and then it just turned into a football game.
Right.
And again, the Patriots, kudos to the Patriots. They made it a game for 3 quarters for sure. And when they take the lead and then you kick off and that happens, that just broke their back. And they never got the lead again. And the Bills kind of, pulled away after that. But fantastic. Hines, you actually called a couple weeks ago. I mean, on your bold prediction.
I know, right?
One week off, you were like, yeah, I think Hines goes for a touchdown on special teams this week. And here it is. He goes for 2. And man, is he fast. Like, you knew it when he got the edge or when he was out in front of the last defender, you knew he was gone. There was nobody going to catch him. He runs like a 4.38, I think. And it was on display today.
It was a shot out of a cannon. I mean, it was absolutely incredible to see. So just happy for him, too, obviously. He's been waiting his time and finally got the moment to shine. And what a stage to do it on.
Yeah. So special teams played extremely well. They covered well. They did everything well. There was that one just lucky break where they punted the ball and Hines was trying to get everyone out of the way. Just happened that a Bills player backed up into the ball. But other than that, Jake, I mean, special teams got to get an A plus, right? A+.
Absolutely. I mean, even on kickoff coverage, I mean, there was a lot of really good tackles. Cam Lewis had a nice tackle and guys were getting out there. I mean, you could tell they were playing with a little more juice today. So it was great to see, Mike. And special teams, baby, it's 1/3 of the game. There's that number 3 again. So just a tremendous job across the board there.
All right, so I think I want to throw it over. Let's talk about the offensive side because I got a couple other little videos I want to get off the, off the system here real quick. But let's talk about Josh Allen. So Josh Allen, 19 for 31, 254 yards. Threw 3 touchdowns, 1 interceptions. He was sacked twice, and I think I told you 254 yards. And my goodness, he did some Josh Allen magic once again. And I'm going to play a couple. The first one happened to John Brown, right? John Brown was elevated from the practice squad for this game. And I think you didn't see Cole Beasley because I think I had heard that Beasley had already played twice. And if they had elevated him again, they had to sign him.
That's right.
That all restarts in the playoffs. So John Brown, and my goodness, this play was magic. I don't have the video because, obviously we would be copyrighting if I showed you the video. But I do have the commentary from Chris Brown once again. So we are going to play that real quick. So let me get over there. And this is the play to Mr. John Brown for I think it was a 42-yard touchdown play, but it was just like schoolyard. Josh Allen, when he goes to the right, bad things are happening for the defense. You saw him signal like, go deep. And my goodness, let's listen to the call here.
4, 3, 2, 1. And booster ignition, liftoff of Space Shuttle Discovery, taking the space station to full power for full science.
To them, one to the left. Fakes the handoff to Cook, evades Josh Uche on the pass rush, waving a receiver down the field. Did he overthrow him? No! John Brown runs it down for the touchdown! 42 yards!
What a play by John Brown. Elevated for just his 3rd game of the season.
I mean, this guy practices things. Does he have it written out? John Brown runs it down for the touchdown. They've got to have planned these things, but how could he have? Because John Brown, this is only the third game he's been in, I believe. Maybe not. I don't even know how many times he's been activated. But what a day to call him up. And again, I mean, what a catch, Jake.
Yeah, and it's funny, they tried to get him a deep ball in that first game that he played against the Pats, and now it worked out this time around. And what a freaking throw and catch. Oh, my goodness gracious. Mike, by the way, absolutely loved the beginning of that with the rocket taking off like that. That was pretty awesome. I'm assuming you're comparing Josh's arm to the rocket that he threw.
Yes.
So, my gosh, just, again, it was a lot of Josh Allen magic today. Really good to see Smoke get get a touchdown. His first touchdown in 2 years. And then after the fact, he handed the ball to that the CPR, the trainer, who basically saved Damar Hamlin's life right off the get-go. So it was Denny Kellington. I keep forgetting his name, but man, what a hero that guy is. So that was really cool to see. Just right away gives them the ball, and that was a very emotional moment, as was a lot of other moments during this game. So that was awesome.
Yeah, well, if you like that one, let's do it again.
Nice.
He goes deep to Diggs for a 49-yarder, and this is just pure arm strength right here. Let's listen to the call one more time. Here we go.
4, 3, 2, 1. And booster ignition, liftoff of Space Shuttle Discovery, taking the space station to full power for full science.
Allen takes the snap, back to pass, has time, pressure coming, unloads down the left sideline. He's got Diggs, caught, touchdown, Buffalo! A 49-yard strike as Allen hits Diggs. Can you dig it?
Can you dig it? Yeah, when they lift off in that rocket, it says taking the station to full power. So Josh Allen taking the Buffalo Bills to full power. And Jake, he almost had a third one, deep one. The Gabe Davis. Gabe should have had it in his hands. Unfortunately, it fell through his hands, but my goodness, that would have playing long ball today, which was something we had been missing, right? We hadn't seen long ball in a while. And, both those plays, both those long passes were things of beauty, not only for Josh. I felt that John Brown was just a fantastic catch. I mean, he had the layout. And then Diggs, if you watch Diggs, I mean, he's kind of judging things. You can see him look forward a little bit. He's looking at the ball and just waits to the last minute because, the defender was right on him. The defender caught it. So he waits to the last second, not giving the defender any indication that the ball's on his way. Just a quick turn. There it is. Boom. Touchdown.
That was absolutely unbelievable. And, at the beginning of that sequence there, the audio sequence, it said full power for science or something like that. Well, Josh Allen defied science with that throw to Stephon Diggs. This guy was flat-footed, and he just effortlessly tosses that ball up and just pinpoint right in the breadbasket. Absolutely incredible. I mean, again, it's like every week this guy does something more amazing, and it's like, listen, I know he had the interception in the red zone, and that's tough. But for every boneheaded play that he makes like that, there's about 10 others that are like, oh my gosh, how did this guy do this? Like, this defies all science. This defies all logic, So I'll take it. I will absolutely take it.
Yeah, he had the one. Can you blame him? I don't know what you thought on the one interception right before half. Trying to make a play. Yeah. But other than that, it's always painful to come away with no points in the red zone, and we're so good. I think they said we're the best team right before half getting points, and we almost did it again. But just a really good game from Josh. Let's see here. On the ground, he didn't have to run too much. He ran 9 times, but they did a good job of spying him. I definitely saw some times where he was being spied. So they did a good job there. Let's talk about the running game. James Cook led the way with 9 carries for 45 yards. Good day for him. Singletary 7 for 29. Cook averaged 5.0 a carry, and Singletary 4.1. Unfortunately, Jake, it's not enough.
I was just going to say you're just kind of leading this up to what you're about to say here. So go ahead.
Yes. Well, let's talk about what they did on the in the air too. Singletary had 1 catch for 3 yards. Cook 2 catches for 6. And unfortunately, our bet has come to a conclusion. Mr. Devin Singletary has won the bet for me, and I will be making a trip to Buffalo in the springtime to go celebrate and have a dinner on Mr. Jake Podger.
Yes, you will. Yes, you will. Absolutely. Well-deserved.
The total numbers came out that James Cook had 687 total yards on the year. Devin Singletary, 1,099 total yards on the year. So fantastic ground game today. Again, we ran for 90 yards. And let's see here. We averaged 3.6, but that was only brought down because Josh was kept intact today on the ground.
And then he took 3 knees at the end of the game too, so that hurts your rushing average too. So there's that involved as well. So, yeah.
Let me ask you about Belichick. Once again, in the first game, he didn't use his timeouts. In this game, he says, I'm not going to use the timeout again. I don't think I've ever seen that before, Jake, unless it's a complete blowout. And they were down, but still to not use his timeouts, surprising. I think last game they had 2 timeouts and he didn't use them. So were you surprised?
Yeah, it was basically one of those moments where it's like, hey, we know we're beat. Might as well just toss in the towel, which I've never really seen before either. So it is very interesting that you bring that up, Mike, because it happened in the first game and it happened again today. So, yeah, I think especially with playoffs on the line, it's like, don't you want to give every last effort, get every single last play you could possibly get in? But I think he just knew that they were beaten mentally, emotionally, physically. And I will say they hung around for a little bit. You know, they did a really nice job. They were battling back and they were swinging too. But I think at the end of the day, the Bills just they outlasted them and got the big win. So we won by double digits, which is awesome. And I know we allowed 23 points. I will say I think Mac Jones, hats off to him. I think he did play a really good game today. I know he threw 3 interceptions, but I will not. I won't hold all those against him. I think he was just trying to make a play, and the guy had to force some throws in there. But thought he did a really nice job today.
Yeah, most, if not all of them, at least 2 of them were tip passes. So
yeah, right.
But great, tip drill for the Bills. I mean, the one by Milano was fantastic, and then the one by Edmonds as well. So utilizing that tip drill, and those were huge. They were driving. On one of those was intercepted in the end zone by Milano.
Yep.
So big turning play there.
And then how about Trey White's? That was pretty awesome.
Oh, yeah, that's right. It was nice to see Trey get one early in the game. He got the first one. And it was like, it's good to see Trey get that, build his confidence even more. Let's go to the receiving core here. So our guy, Stefon Diggs, big day today, 7 for 104. You knew they were looking at him early and often. He got 10 targets today, which is what we like to see from Stefon Diggs. 7 for 104, and a touchdown. Of course, that beautiful 49-yard touchdown. So Diggs, getting fed the ball today, and that's what we've been, we like to see, and against a very good defense. Now, they were kind of down. They were down in the secondary, a couple players. Is that correct?
That's right. Yeah, they were missing Jabril Peppers, and then already coming into the game, they were missing the Green Goblin, Jalen Mills. So, and then there was another guy too, I believe, Jonathan Jones. Was he playing today? I didn't know if he was out there or not.
I think Jonathan Jones was questionable, but I don't know if there was a Jones on the field. Who's the one who returns?
Jones.
Who's the one who returns kicks for them?
And that's Marcus Jones. Yeah, and I'm sorry. So Jonathan Jones did play today. So yeah, that's my fault. Yeah, he was out there. He had 6 tackles actually. So that's on me. My bad.
Gotcha. I'm just looking at that game behind you. What's the score of that game?
So it looks like the Lions just scored a touchdown. So 13-9 Lions right now. Looks like who's that? Khalif Raymond on the reception there for a touchdown, or no?
Yeah,
rushing touchdown by Jamal Williams.
So wow. I have a parlay. If they win, the Packers, I'd win a nice parlay. But this is why I don't gamble much, because it looks like they're going to break my heart. And there is Tony right now.
I love it.
Saying, welcome to the live sweat, Mike. Yeah, live sweat. I just asked Jake for the updates. So
hey, Tony, we need you and Rick to do a betting show for the channel. I think that would be absolutely incredible. No better guys to do it than you two. I think you guys would be tremendous at that. We got to figure that out. I know you sort of do it with the golf show, but man, you do it for football. Whoo.
Tony had his heart broken. He was counting his money because Morikawa had a 6-stroke lead going into the final round, and John Rahm shot a 10 under. So crazy stuff.
Oh my goodness, that's tough. I'm so sorry.
Well, let's get some back to football, because win or lose of that game, I don't care. I'm more excited about the Bills.
Hell yeah.
Getting the second seed here. So Diggs, like I said, with 104, he was the top receiver. John Brown had 1 reception for 42 yards and a touchdown. Gabe Davis was targeted 10 times, but only made 3 receptions for 39. And of course, he dropped that one long one. That had to be plus 40 again on that one, right?
Oh yeah, easily. And then you think about the play that he was ruled out of bounds. That also didn't count as a catch. So there were a couple tough plays for him today. Made a couple of clutch catches as well, though, too. So not going to hold it totally against him. But yeah, there were a couple plays where he should have had, a few more catches, really.
Yeah. And then Dawson Knox had the 1 big touchdown. Isaiah McKenzie, 2 catches. Isaiah usually feeds against the Patriots.
Yeah,
I thought he would. But he had kind of a quiet day. We did see more. I saw more of Khalil Shakir out there on the field, which was good to see. I thought that was good to see.
Definitely.
Been wanting to see more of that young man. So overall, the offense, a pretty good day. Can't complain. Put up some big numbers, but definitely aided by that special teams. 12 points, 14 points off special teams, incredible. And of course the 3 interceptions by the defense. Which, before I get into the defense, is there anyone else you want to talk about on the offensive side of the ball? Because, they did a good job, very good job actually.
Yeah, I think. I think the story of the day was obviously, just seeing John Brown catch the deep ball. It was really nice for him to get in the end zone. Nice to see him being utilized finally. The guy still has wheels, Mike. I know he's in his 30s, but man, he can still run out there. And hell of a catch by him, hell of a throw by Josh. And then at the end to give the touchdown ball to Denny Killington was really nice to see. So I think that was absolutely a highlight for me. And then, of course, we finally got those 10 targets for Steph Diggs. He got 7 catches for $104. That was awesome to see, and the really nice touchdown pass to follow that. So that was great.
Yeah, we got Rage on Bills coming in. I love seeing John Brown.
Hell yeah.
Out there, yeah, for sure. And it'll be interesting going forward. I mean, they have both Beasley and they have John Brown. So, I mean, I think in the
band
playoffs,
is back. The band is back.
I know in the playoffs. Because talk about John Brown a little bit. So I was telling my son Jonah, back in Josh's rookie year, John Brown was his guy. That he didn't have Stephon Diggs, right? And I think Brown had a fantastic year that year. Was
John
it the
Brown,
second year?
It was his second year, 2019. He had over 1,000 yards receiving. Then he played here in 2020. Then obviously last year we didn't have him, and he was replaced by Emmanuel Sanders. But it was really nice for us to pick him up again now, and especially being late in the season is where I think he's fresh and he can be a really good contributor, especially with those deep plays. Because like I said, I mean, he still has the wheels. He can still find separation out there. And boy, it was I don't think a lot of guys on the Patriots were even expecting that to happen. So that was awesome.
Like I said, it was in like a schoolyard play, right? It wasn't designed, right. But when Josh rolls right, I mean, it feels like just guys know what to do. And you saw him; he's like, go. And the coverage was actually above Brown at that time, so Brown just had to turn and go straight up the gut. And beautiful throw by Josh. At first, it looked like it might be a little long, but he laid out. Beautiful catch, fantastic.
Yeah, it was.
So exciting times on the offense. Let's move over to the defense. So big question on the coming into the game was who's going to play, who's going to take over for Damar, and finally Dean Marlowe, another guy we traded for right before the trade deadline. Everyone's been talking about Dean. Where is Dean? Where's Dean? I did not think he would start, but he did. And, I've been vocal about saying it doesn't look like anything special, but you know what? I thought maybe they were thinking who has the most experience, right? You could have Cam Lewis play. You could have probably had, I don't know who else other than Cam Lewis would you have seen back there besides Dean Marlowe? Maybe Daquan Jones, right?
That's where I was confused. I thought Jaquan Johnson was going to start the game, so I was very surprised to not see him out there and to see Dean Marlowe out there, especially because we haven't used Dean Marlowe at all this year. So it was. I thought for the most part too, he did a solid job for the. I'm not going to say he's at the same level as Damar Hamlin, but he filled in okay today.
Yeah, so he had the three tackles, 3 solo tackles. And again, it was hard to see until I watched the all 22 just how he did, but it's kind of quiet. It was different, with Damar. We saw Damar around the line of scrimmage a lot.
That's right.
Blitzing sometimes. Didn't see any of that.
And that is irreplaceable. Honestly, that is such a rare trait. That's such a gem to have a safety that can play up near the line of scrimmage like that and kind of play all over the field. So, absolutely miss him out there. It's hard to replace a guy like that, plain and simple. And we thought Jaquan Johnson was going to be that guy, especially with how he played in the preseason, but just hasn't really been the case. Damar Hamlin's played a lot better, and that's why he's been getting the start at safety. And, of course, today with Dean Marlowe in there, not really the same type of player per se. I think he's actually a little bit better in coverage, so that's why he was playing back more and not at all at the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, so, I'll go through some numbers here. Jordan Poyer was the top tackler with 9 tackles. He had 7 solo tackles. Let's see here. Matt Milano with 8 tackles, 7 solo, 2 pass deflections by Matt Milano, and of course the interception, which is fantastic. Taron Johnson, I thought, had first of all, it was great to see Taron Johnson on there. I mean, last week he suffered a concussion. And normally in today's game, you don't expect the player to come back the next week, but he did. Played a great game, had eight total tackles, 6 solo, 1 tackle for a loss, and 1 pass deflection. Edmonds had a nice day. He had 3 pass deflections. Let's see here. And he had a quarterback hit. Let's see who got the sack. Rousseau got the sack early. He had 5 tackles with a nice sack. That wasn't their only sack. I was thinking they were going to get more, but hey, they were putting pressure on Mac, and they were coming up big when they needed to.
Yeah. And again, I think Shaq Lawson played really well today too. He was getting in there. He had a lot of pressures today, and just very, very good in the run game as always. And of course, I think our defense, Ray John Bills make a very good point here. I think the defense was getting gashed a little bit in the first half. We tuned things up a little bit, came out in the second half, played a lot better. But I will say, based on the defense that we play, it does allow for some of those bigger runs to happen because we play a more soft zone at times. So I think that's why you saw a lot of those longer runs by Ramondre Stevenson and then Damian Harris. So, but I'll tell you this, a lot of bend don't break today. There were some big plays that the Patriots made, but overall, man, I think our defense kind of brought it all together towards the end of the game and really finished it out well.
Yeah, I second that as well. And again, like you said earlier, Mac Jones had a really nice game. The Patriots, I mean, this is win and they're in. So they were going to come hard. They were going to put it all on the line. And if not for those 2, returns for touchdowns, who knows what this game turns out to be? Because those were big lifters for the Bills. Huge momentum changer, especially to start the game when the Bills, you didn't really, you could tell they were very emotional. And then, of course, after the Patriots took the lead to come back with that. It's just back-breaking stuff right there.
Yeah. And what was nice, too? It was good to see, every main contributor on each side of the ball, have a good game today. Like Josh Allen on offense, of course. He did Josh Allen things. On defense, you had both linebackers with Tremaine Edmonds and Matt Milano. I did think Jordan Poyer struggled a little bit at times just being out of position, but I think he kind of came back and still obviously led the team in tackles. So can't really say anything bad about Jordan Poyer. And there was that really tough tackle he had to make on Hunter Henry towards the end there. Of course, they did get the 4th down conversion, but still made some plays. Not going to say he played his best game of all time, but we're now 12-0 with him in the starting lineup. So that's awesome to see. And then, special teams wise, awesome job by Nyheim Hines and the entire kickoff coverage team as well as the kick return team. I mean, just a beautiful job by both sides there.
Yeah, the coverage team was fantastic. I keep watching that Green Bay game. It looks like the Green Bay just scored a touchdown.
Yeah, it looks like what do we got? Alan Lazard there for a tutter. Nice. Yep. Mike, your bet's looking okay. You're looking okay now. I'm
definitely on the sweat right now, like Tony said. So all in all, fantastic game. We locked up the number 2 seed. And guess who we get to play next week? First of all, before I get to next week, anyone else you want to talk about? I mean, let's talk about game balls. Let's give out 2 game balls today, one on the offense, one on the defense. Shoot, let's give out a third one. Special teams.
Yeah, I think it goes without saying you have to give the game ball to Nyheim Hines. I mean, This guy, he's been on the team for, 8 weeks or so now, and really hasn't had that moment to shine. And it was just really awesome for him to kind of ignite this team and really, I think, set the momentum train for us because right off the bat, obviously it kind of takes a little bit of pressure off the team going out there, the offense going out there. Allowed it to be just a normal football game. So that was awesome right off the get-go. And then we're down 17-14, and he takes one back to the house. That was huge because that was the ultimate swing to continue to give us a lead for the rest of the game. So, I got to give it to Nyheim Hines. I'm sorry I took that one away from you, Mike, but it's an obvious, Yeah. I think as far as the offensive side of the ball goes, I'm going to give it to Josh. And I'm going to say this just because he did – some absolutely heroic things out there, but I want to give it to him more so for just his leadership and for him just being real. And I don't know if you said you weren't able to see the press conference after the game, but he talked about a little bit, just talking about how, it was the first kickoff return for a touchdown in 3 years and 3 months. And he got emotional talking about it. And it's, what I love is that I think this team is so okay with just being themselves around one another and being real with the media. And Josh is always very tied up. He doesn't say he doesn't give you a lot of like billboard material. But I think when it comes down to it, he is a real person. There's a lot of quarterbacks out in the league. I'm not going to name names or anything like that, but a lot of guys out there that won't do that are just kind of fake and don't really give you that. There's never been a sense of him ever being, ingenuine or anything like that. He's always been just a very just real person. And, you could tell that he just loves football. He loves his teammates and he loves Buffalo. So I got to give him the game ball. Statistically, didn't totally wow you or anything like that. 254 yards, 3 touchdowns, which is awesome. Should have been 4. And actually that may have put him over the 300-yard mark with that touchdown pass. But I think just across the board from leadership and just play on the field, I really do think that he deserves a game ball. Defensively, I'll give it to Tremaine Edmonds because I think, he ends up with an interception. He had a couple big plays today, and, just great to have him out there and kind of finish off the season strong.
Ray John Bills, hold on just a little bit. We'll talk about your comment there. So for me, obviously, Nyheim Hines. And then on offense, how can you not give it to Josh Allen? Again, he had that long pass to Gabe Davis. That pass is completed. Oh, my gosh, he's probably over 300 yards today.
Right.
Unbelievable day. And, again, those were all just Josh Allen. Nobody can throw that ball. What he did to John Brown, like going to the right. And I say this all the time, and I wish I could make it short and get the perfect music and everything. When Josh Allen rolls to the right, as a defensive coordinator, as a defensive team, you're like, oh my God, we let him go to the right and something bad's going to happen. And 9 out of 10 times it does for the opposing team. And he did it again. And then that throw to Diggs was, he threw it from his 40, 45, something like that.
Just flat-footed. He was like,
yeah.
Some of the times, like, he'll make these insane throws, and half the time you're watching him make these throws, it's like, these are not good teaching tapes at all, because as a normal quarterback, you are not throwing this ball because no one has that arm strength to do it. So he has just unreal arm talent. I've never seen anything like it. Maybe the guy we're watching on television right here, Aaron Rodgers, might have something, to say about it, but man, he's right up there, man.
How long do you think? Let's say if Josh was in a throwing contest, how far do you think he can throw a ball?
Oh, definitely 80 plus.
Wow.
And I still have. There was supposed to be a thing going between him and Pat Mahomes on who could throw longer, and it was supposed to be a throw off. But I think both teams got involved a little bit there. The higher ups and basically said, no, guys, we can't afford you guys getting injured. Although they used to do the long ball throw. Back in the day, they used to do like the quarterback contest and all that. They got to bring those back. That was awesome.
Yeah. Those were cool because those were accuracy, competitions. It wasn't just who could throw the ball the longest. It was who could hit those targets. Yeah, that was a lot.
I'll go back and just rewatch those just for fun sometimes. It was awesome to see.
All right, and then I see my game ball. I know you gave it, so it's Josh Allen on offense. For defense, I'm going to give it to the other linebacker. I thought Milano had a fantastic game. He also had a nice interception on a deflection, and that was huge because that was in the end zone. They were coming down, getting back in the game, and he made that play. So I'm going to give it to Milano for me. That kind of concludes our game today. Fantastic game. When you consider what the Bills went through this week, it's shocking that this game was even played, but it did get played. It's shocking that they could, I don't know how well they slept. They probably didn't sleep well at all this week at all, like most of us didn't. But for them to come out and get this win in a way that, to have all 3 facets of it, of a game, to be able to have a special teams that can do something like this. We didn't see Bass. Bass was quiet. He didn't have to come out and kick any field goals. But, we turned it up on the kickoff returns and the coverage. So fantastic game, Buffalo. We love you. Now we have to turn our heads and look forward to next week. And guess who's coming to town? The Miami Dolphins. And Jake, here's a little trivia for you. Counting next week's game, how many times will the Bills have played the Dolphins in the playoffs?
Ooh, like overall. So we're talking
overall.
Full history.
Full history. Oh, and I forgot to talk Rage on Bills. We'll get that real quick after you answer this.
I want to say 10 times.
This will be the 5th time Jake. We've only played them 4
Get out
times
of here.
in
Really?
the playoffs. I am not kidding you. I'll talk about those games in a little bit. Let's finish up with Ray John Bill's comment. If Buffalo plays like that on defense in the first half come next week, we will not contend in the postseason. That's fact. They need to play 100% from quarter 1 to quarter 4. Your thoughts on that, Jake?
You're not wrong. You're absolutely not wrong. Yeah, I think we were a little bit flat just defensively and playing very soft zone. We allowed a lot of big plays to happen, allowed them to hang around for a lot longer than we should have. But you got to remember, too, like the Patriots they're not a bad football team. They have weapons, too. I think they have some nice young talent on that team. The offensive line was giving them time outside of the, at first, I think, our defensive line was totally just killing them, taking advantage of them. But we weren't getting a whole lot of pressure either. So, credit to their offensive line. I thought they played pretty well, especially with some younger guys on that offensive line. And their receivers were making plays. So, the defense definitely, I will say, wasn't great in the first half, but I certainly think the second half they sort of figured things out and made plays when they had to. And I know they allowed 23 points and they allowed Mac Jones to throw 3 touchdowns on them, but man, I'm really happy with how they finished that off. But I agree with you. I mean, you got to play a full 4 quarters of good defensive football, especially against a team like the Dolphins. Now I've already heard that Tua is probably not going to be playing in that game, so we're going to be going up against Teddy Bridgewater or Skylar Thompson, which is obviously a lot different in terms of preparation. But hey, don't take anything for granted, because any given Sunday, any given Saturday, Sunday, we don't even know when they're actually playing this game just yet. They should be announcing that soon. I was hoping they'd have it by the time we did this show, but still haven't found out the exact date and time for it. But I mean, we know they got some speed on that offense, so you cannot make a mistake and let them go to distance, because it will happen.
Yeah, I'm going to give them a pass. I mean, only because of all that went down this week. And again, the little flat, but I think that kind of was expected for me to see that. I'm actually expected we did as well as we did. So good stuff there. Yeah, we didn't talk about Shaq Lawson. I thought Shaq's been doing an incredible job. I think is he the starter now? He's the starter on the right side, isn't he?
He has been playing. Yeah, he has been basically playing as the starter over there over AJ Epinesa. So yeah.
Yeah. And we got Brian. Good to see you out there, Brian. Hard not to be emotional after that first kickoff, for sure. And then 3 years and 3 days since last kickoff return for Buffalo. Can't write that stuff. It's insane.
Was it 3 years and 3 days or 3 years and 3 months? I have to look that up.
Either way, it's 3.
Either way, still awesome.
Either way, it's 3, right?
So cool.
Good stuff. Good to see you out there, Brian. Happy victory. Happy victory Sunday evening. So let's talk about this Dolphin matchup. You thought we played 10 times. We only have played them 4 times so far. Next week will be the 5th game. The first 3 games were the great Jim Kelly, Dan Marino matchups. Back in, let's see, I got the numbers here. Back in 1991 in the divisional game, the Bills won 44-34. That was the game where we would then go on to play the Los Angeles Raiders, whoop their butts, and go to our first Super Bowl, only to lose wide right. Then we played them again in 1993 in the AFC Championship game. This time. Jim Kelly gets the win again against Dan Marino, 29-10. And then 1995, the Bills win in the AFC wildcard game. And they won, 37-22. And then the last time we played, the Dolphins got the best of us, and that was in 1999, December of 1999, and the Dolphins won 24-17, and I believe Doug Flutie was the quarterback of the Bills at that game. So that's it. It's just surprising for as many years as both the Bills and the Dolphins have been in the same division, but you got to remember, in the 70s, they beat us 20 straight times.
That's true.
We got a little revenge in the 80s, but then we went on that long drought, didn't even make the playoffs. So you can see why it was only 4. So this will be the 5th time. And again, without Tua, that's going to be an advantage for us, but we can't sleep on that as well. And again, I don't know if that's confirmed to be 100%, but as much as Tua suffered with the concussions, there'd be a lot of question marks if they rushed him back just because of this game. I mean, they rushed him back for another game earlier in the season, but he makes a big difference. Now, Bridgewater has struggled backing him up, but the Bills are going to have to be ready. So, I mean, for you, Jake, I mean, I was hoping. First of all, I wanted the Bills to lock in the number 2 seed. Why? Because they're either going to play the Patriots, they're going to play either the Dolphins, or surprisingly enough, who got the win was Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Right? Those were going to be the 3 teams. One of those 3 we're going to play if we locked in number 2. Much easier, I feel. Not easier, but I feel like a much better matchup than going against a hot Charger team. Did the Chargers lose this game today against Denver?
They did. They lost to the Broncos, yeah. It was interesting, too, because Justin Herbert played 3 quarters, and then in the 4th quarter, they inserted Chase Daniel. So I'm not really sure what the thought process was behind that, but
well, let's
very
talk about
interesting.
Let's talk about that. So where do they sit right now, and who are they playing next week?
So they'll be playing the Jaguars at Jacksonville. So they're the 5th seed. Jaguars are the 4th seed. I'll tell you what, that Jags team, they showed a lot of resilience last night. They played until pretty much the last final minute. And the other Josh Allen scoring the game-winning touchdown for them on the strip sack. Yeah, that was pretty cool. So,
I thought that was a good sign for us. When I saw Josh Allen scoring the night before, I'm like, yeah, let's go. This is going to be good for us.
Heck
but
yeah.
Let me ask you, was there any benefit for them winning the game? Would they have had to play potentially Cincinnati?
No, I don't believe there was. Actually, there may have been because the Ravens lost. So I think if they would have won, or no, the Ravens were still the 6th seed. Yeah, no, so there was no benefit at all at that point. Right. No, yeah.
So Buffalo will play Miami. Who will the Bengals play?
The Bengals are playing the Ravens, and then the Chargers are going to be playing the Jaguars.
Now, interesting in that Bengal game today, did you see that the guy pulls out a coin? And, because if the Ravens had won, I think it was going to be a coin flip as to where they were going to play the game. And obviously Cincinnati was not happy with that. And when they went out ahead in this game, who was it that it was Nixon, right? Nixon, Joe Nixon.
He was the most vocal about that whole thing. He was pissed about it. He was like, "This is not fair. This is not right. Like, it's not our fault we didn't get to play in this game, more or less." Which he's not wrong. I mean, it's kind of would be a little messed up. So, and to decide where you're playing based on a coin flip like that, I mean, not a huge fan of that.
All right, so I expect Lamar Jackson back this game for the Ravens, so that's going to make that a much more difficult task for the Bengals. So maybe, I don't know how they feel about that matchup. So let's see, Buffalo against Dolphins, Bengals against Ravens. Then you got the third, then you got the Jaguars versus Chargers.
Yep.
All right, there you go. Now, and then whoever's the worst seed left would play KC, and
that's right.
The second worst team left after that game. So it'd be interesting to see what happens. But the good thing for the Bills, by winning the 2nd seed, if they continue and they win, they will not have to play an away game. You can say if they do play the Chiefs, it's going to be at a neutral site. So again, that's much better. Right. I'm so happy they actually did that, at least, because I do not want to go. While I think we can win, I do not want to go back to Kansas City for a game. I don't think it would have been fair. So it'll be interesting where a neutral site is going to be, because I'll tell you what, Bills Mafia travels very well. So I'm going to be curious. Maybe they'll bring it out here. Maybe I'll bring it here to California.
They were saying, so there were rumors that Indy was going to be the place for them to play, which would be a dome. But then there were also rumors that they wanted to keep it outdoors because both teams play outdoors. So they wanted to sort of simulate as close as they could to the elements. I know Pittsburgh was thrown out there, but obviously Pittsburgh still had a chance to get into the playoffs. So there was a chance that they would potentially be playing in the AFC Championship. But now that they're out, that is also potentially a spot to consider. So, yeah, we'll see. We'll see. I mean, we got a long ways to go before that, and I think we may get our rematch too in the divisional round against the Bengals at home, though, this time. So, if all things go the way that they should, quote unquote, the Bills should win against the Dolphins, and I think the Bengals should take care of business against the Ravens. So it'd be a nice rematch, and it would be good. I think it would be good just to be able to have a meaningful game between these two franchises and actually determine a winner this time around.
Yeah, I think that's I think that would be poetic justice to have those two teams face one another. I really do.
For sure.
to see who goes and plays. I'm telling you what, if the Jaguars win or the Chargers win and they go play the Chiefs, I like their chances.
Yeah, honestly, I'll tell you what. Yeah, like I said, I mean, I wouldn't rule either of those teams out. I think the Jags too. They've been getting hot. They have some pieces where it's not totally up to par. But I'll tell you, they got hot towards the end of the year here. They've won. I mean, they were 4-8, and now they're 9-8. They've won 5 straight, so that's awesome to see. And then the Chargers, you just never know with them. I feel like they're very up and down this year, but they can get hot at any moment during the game. So, not an easy win for KC if they do end up playing them.
Yeah, for sure. I want to go back to Rage on Bills. He's still a little harsh on the defense here. He says, what do you think is going to happen when the Bills face a team that puts up points nonstop? So that there's plenty of teams that can put up points nonstop right now, starting with the Chargers, the Chiefs, and the Bengals. Those are the 3 teams that can really put up numbers on you. I think the Ravens are more of a physical ground and pound type of game, and that's going to be, just a good defensive battle. So, in these type of games, defense has to step up and make a few plays, but your offense is going to have to go toe-to-toe with these teams. If they're putting up numbers, we're going to have to put up numbers as well. So
I thought we did a pretty good job of doing that today. We found different ways to score points. I mean, we put up 35 points, and the Patriots, they scored 23, so they kind of put the pressure on us a little bit. We were only up 28-23, so had to go back out there and just keep scoring points. We did a nice job of doing that today. So if that means anything heading into the playoffs, at least it makes me feel a little bit better.
If Leslie Frazier doesn't scheme these games correct, he needs to be gone. Simple as that. Hate me if you want, but it's real. Rage on Bills. Love you guys. See you next week.
Appreciate you, brother. Absolutely. No, I think, the first matchup against the Dolphins, pretty much we just continued to run our normal zone. And, the book was sort of out on them where you could play man and then run too high pretty much, So I was a little confused as to why we didn't make any adjustments, and we got burnt a few times, and that was a tough game to win against the Dolphins. We got very lucky there, 32-29, ended up pulling it out, and that was a really good win for us. But yeah, I mean, we had kind of a blueprint laid out for us when they lost to San Diego to the LA Chargers and the 49ers, the 2 weeks prior to that, and it was basically that recipe right there, and we just didn't do it. We just stayed with our normal zone coverage, and it does come back to bite you sometimes because they have a lot of speed. I
like what Brian says. The Bills have 7 straight wins. In every game, we can find something wrong. Absolutely. The defense, Josh, red zone turnovers, offense not in sync, but they kept winning. I mean, anyone would take 3 losses. And Jake, I wanted to rub it in with Rick. I mean, because remember at our predictions, we both had the Bills going 14-3. 13-3 is fantastic. I mean, I know Rick was giving us a hard time thinking there's no way you guys are only going to lose 3 games, but we did it, and we found a way to do it. So, the resilience of this team has shown itself. I mean, we went from last year that people could say we can't win the close games. Now we can win the close games. We know we can put up big numbers. So it's just putting it all together, and I think they're going to be ready to roll starting this week. So I like that comment there from Brian.
Heck yeah. This team has been through hell and back. And, this is one thing I will say. I think sometimes as Bills fans, I'm not going to throw myself into this category because I try to stay pretty even keel throughout the process. But you get very emotional and you get almost pissed off when you don't blow these teams out and destroy these teams like we should, because we think that we're this elite team. I mean, I want you to remember, this is, first off, it's the NFL. I think the margin between teams this year is as close as it's ever been. I mean, teams are there. You might have a team that's, 7-10 or 8-9, but they're not as bad as of they're not as bad of a team as their record shows, if you will. I think this year it's been a really weird type of year. I think this team they've battled through so much adversity and they've found ways to win. And who cares if we only win by 3 points, man? A win's a win. It's tough to get a win in the NFL. And I think you just have to remember, shoot, we could very well be in a situation where we don't have Josh Allen as our quarterback. And we don't have Josh Allen. I mean, we're not winning any of these games. So, I don't know. There's just a lot of things. You can't take any win for granted. And I don't think we should take Josh Allen for granted or, any of these other players that are taking some criticism for maybe making some mistakes from time to time. So, I'm just going to leave it at that.
Totally agree. Let's see here. And Cincinnati scares more than KC. Absolutely. Cincinnati looks so good. Burrow, those 3 receivers that he has to throw to. I mean, tough to stop those guys.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and then he says they have Jesus at quarterback. Yeah, I mean, shoot, those long locks. He looks like sunshine out there, absolutely killing it. Trevor Lawrence has shown a ton of improvement this year. I think Doug Peterson has done a fantastic job with him, and he's really kind of embraced it and done an awesome job this year.
It's a big play coming up. Is this 4th down for Detroit right now?
Yeah, 4th down for Detroit. Let's see what happens.
They're going for the throat here because they kick a field goal. They're ahead.
Yep.
But they're going to keep the drive alive, run more clock out. Oh, man, I want them to stop them here. Let's go. What is it, 4th and 2?
Yeah, we're going to get some live commentary here. Here we go, 4th and 2.
Looks like he got it, right? Or did he not? No, he got it.
Yep, looks like he got it behind me. Yeah, I'm a little. So I have a TV in front of me here, and it's a little behind. Yeah, he got it. Yep.
Oh boy.
DJ Chark.
Looks like my bet's gonna go to wayside here. That's all right. That's why I shouldn't be betting.
Still got 9 minutes left. We got a lot of time.
No, there's not that much, right? There's only 3 minutes.
That says 9.
Does it say that? Let's see.
On this TV, it does at least. Although this TV is a little behind in front of me here.
Oh, you're right. You're right. I don't know why I thought I saw 3 minutes, but actually, it's 16-13, so a field goal just ties it. Okay.
Right. Yep.
Yeah, it's funny to me watching the Jaguar game. You see all the fans; they've bought those wigs now, and it's awesome. It's pretty awesome. Good stuff there. So, man, here we go. Next week, Dolphins. 5th time we'll have seen them in the playoffs overall in the history of the Bills versus the Dolphins. And we said it a couple weeks ago when we beat them in the snow game that we'd probably see them again. Probably see them again. And that was, and I mean, they won ugly today. It was a 6-6 game. They won 9-6. A battle against the Jets. That Jets defense is just so darn good. But it was 6-6. 9-6 is what the win was.
Yeah.
So
crazy.
Good stuff here. And then Ray John and Nickel City Mafia, he said,
okay,
let's do this next week as a collaboration. Yeah, anytime, sir.
That'd be cool, man.
Check it out. I guess, do we search Ray John Bills, find your channel? We'll check it out.
I think so. I think we got it now. Absolutely.
This is Mr. Brian Label says, good shows. Always keep the shows going. I know these shows take work. Thanks for bringing good stuff to us. Well, we appreciate you, Brian.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate the heck out of you, man.
Yeah, for sure. So, Jake, I mean, wraps it up. What a week. What a week. And now we locked in. We wanted that 2nd seed. We got it. So let's go. Let's get prepared for these Dolphins. We'll see what the weather brings. Weather's always interested in Buffalo. I thought today was a very good for Buffalo.
They were talking snow tornadoes coming up, Mike. I don't know what to believe anymore. You just never know. So, yeah, I don't want any more snow, to be honest with you. I'm actually sick of it. And I love the elements, as you know.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Yeah. For Buffalo, you just never know. I mean, this game could be high winds, crazy snow, or it could be like today. Today was fine. Like if today is,
it's perfect.
Is a perfect weather game. And, Josh Allen was able to put everything on display. And that's what I always say. When there's no elements, Jake, Josh Allen shines.
You're right. You're not wrong. You're definitely not wrong about that. And did you hear, too, that DeMar broke them down over FaceTime again, which is awesome at the end of the game. So that is so cool. Fantastic, man.
All right. Well, that does it. Early night for us tonight, which is fantastic. Appreciate all you in the channel. Appreciate all of you that might watch this after the fact. And if you're new to the channel, please like, comment, and subscribe. Drop a nickel on that subscribe button. And if you're not new, hit that like button. I'd love to see our likes get a little bit more. I mean, obviously, if you don't like it, hit that down like, whatever they call it, the down thumb, whatever. But give us a comment. Tell us what you think of the show. Tell us if we can do anything better for you. We welcome all comments. We just want to make sure we continue to get better at what we're doing. We've come a long way, Jake, and a couple, a year and a half with you. And it's been fantastic. So we just want to keep improving for everybody out there in the channel. So thank you, everybody. Thank you, Jake. And go Bills.
Go Bills, baby.